TV9 global ప్రేక్షకులందరికీ నమస్కారం. Firstly, how do you want me to introduce you? Like as America's global top 20 women of excellence 2025 winner, or else a powerful woman whose signature holds the power of thousands of immigration and immigrants future with you, or mere cheppandi, how do you want our TV9 Telugu global audience to remember you?
Namaskaram. Bagunara.
Yeah.
So, no one. I want to be. I'm a very humble woman and a very kind human. Apart from that, an immigration attorney who has been very passionate about what I do in and out every day. That's my life, that's my passion. More than that passion, whatever I carry myself onto. All these identities, all these awards, everything, I'm very humbled and always feel that encourages me, but that's not my identity. Mary is a very simple, with a very simple beginning, whatever I had in my life. And whoever who wants to be connected with me, I'm a person, I can lift you up, I can be with you as a, whatever you call it, akka, whatever role you give it to me, I'm very honored to receive it.
Good, but you're being very humble. Guys, she's a very famous lawyer, immigration lawyer with 20 plus years of experience, Mary Kennedy garu here, and deeply rooted with Tamil and other communities in the USA and worldwide, right?
Right. Raised up in Chennai all my years, and then did my law in Chennai, and then moved into US in 2001.
2001.
And, yeah, right. And I started my career in New Jersey, and that's all I could say. And the journey begins and goes around.
Fantastic. ఫస్ట్లీ చాలా తక్కువ మందికి ఈ కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉంటుంది ఏంటిదంటే లాయర్ అటార్నీ. సో కామన్గా చెప్పాలి అంటే సింపుల్గా మీరు లాయరా అటార్నీయా?
So attorney is the term that we use in US, but however, lawyer is the common term. It's all the same, kind of, like just the bar licensing, and even in India when you take it, that's how it revolves.
So యూజువల్గా మాకు ఆర్ఎఫ్ఈస్ అన్నా వేరే సిపిటి వేరే టఫ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నా కూడా ఇమిగ్రేషన్ సైడ్ అవందరి పీపుల్ ఒక హెడ్ ఎక్స్. అలాంటి హెడ్ ఎక్స్ అన్ని మీరు మీ డైలీ లైఫ్లో అవి మీకు ఒక పీపుల్ స్టోరీస్ అండ్ ఆల్ విచ్ ఇస్ లైక్ అ ప్రాబ్లమ్ విచ్ యూర్ రెడీ టు జంప్ ఇన్ అండ్ సాల్వ్. హౌ డు యూ ఫీల్ దట్ అండ్ వాట్ మేడ్ యూ టు చూస్ దిస్ ఫీల్డ్?
The career choice is not, obviously it's not mine. Some parents decide about it. But then I'm a person who, whatever I do it in and out on a daily basis, or what I'm involved in, I want it to be in very detail. And relationship is my strength. Human relationships is my strength. So it helps me to see the people who I am associated with. They come from a place of trusting, the hope they give out of the sea. US is a place where still now, whatever you call it, it's a place of dreams for so many individuals or family, and that's what we do it. So on that, anything that has been given to me, I always wanted that trust to be connected. See, families, when they build, it doesn't limit myself to immigration, doesn't limit to H1s, F1s or anything. We do the family based as well. So if you look into it, somebody who is a US citizen, he wants to find a girl connected with someone in India. How do they journey themselves as a couple, and then they start their family? All those are something inspires me every day in and out. I always feel that it will never be a place where I'll get tired of it, because their journey and then my involvement into their family, and eventually you develop. They start as a client but end as a family. That's where the journey is. More important than what you do about it. RFEs and paperworks, and even the process is overwhelming for a common person who had never done it. So for them, you being part of the role as an attorney and then end up with something else different is what very fulfilling. Very fulfilling. Every day I look forward for it.
Yeah. Let's start with something current and recent. Washington DC-lo war memorial mundu oka couple సోషల్ మీడియా ట్రెండ్ కోసం అని చెప్పి వాళ్ళు డాన్స్ చేస్తూ, బట్ రైట్ నౌ దే రిస్క్ దేర్ ఎంటైర్ కెరియర్ ఇప్పుడు జాబ్ పోయింది, వీసా పోయింది. సో ఇలాంటి సిచ్యువేషన్స్ పైన మీ కామెంట్ ఏంటిది?
See, I always say that any visas, any compliance, any legal obligations, rules, you need to be aware of it. Awareness is something that anyone, especially when you are in a non-immigrant visas, right? There are compliances that needs to be followed. You don't have the same privilege and the rights you have it for a local other citizen. That's the basic understanding. Keeping that in mind, definitely when you're in a H1B or an F1, how does it, like reflect you? See, your dreams and your career, everything has been on that, based on that. It can be part of it, limitations of social media presence. Why do we get into a place where when there is regulation, there is memo changes, right?
Yeah.
We all know that recently you are supposed to, like be having your social media page as a public. See, the intention is not to find it out who you are friends with. What's the intention of the government requesting you to open up to be a public place is to see that what is you had been doing for the last 3 years or 5 years in your presence in a place where it's a public. So with that in mind, how do you even do something which is going to so many things are involved. It's not just fun, right? So many, and when I deal with so many cases where DUIs are very, very common among the individual students. So there is like moral responsibility. First thing is, right?
Okay, DUI ante driving under influence, drunk and drive. Yeah.
Right. You have all these. What is the purpose of all these Ubers? Be responsible. The consequence is so much overwhelming. If you look into it, it's not one time. Just you got arrested for 2 hours. The consequences that falls under after that, everything, not only your own career, your partner, your life, and like so many cases I've dealt with where they got arrested, and not only for a short term period because of the irresponsibility that's associated with that. So I would say, when you ask me a question, how responsible I have to be holding a non-immigrant visa, first knowing your rights and be aware of it, be responsible for that. This is all something associated with you. You have invested and you have a long future that is going to be involved in this nation. Then be mindful about it, be respectful about it, and continue the journey.
Okay, so షార్ట్ టర్మ్ ఫన్ కోసం లాంగ్ టర్మ్ మీ కెరీర్ని రిస్క్లో పెట్టద్దు అని చెప్పి అంటారు.
That's correct.
గాట్ ఇట్. వీసా అనగానే నాకు 2 థింగ్స్ గుర్తొస్తుంది. ఒకటి ఆబ్వియస్లీ, రెండోది WISA, విచ్ ఇస్ వెరీ కరెంట్ ట్రెండింగ్ టాపిక్. సోషల్ మీడియా మొత్తం WISA మీదనే ఉంది. సో దాని మీద మీ స్టాండ్ ఏంటిది, అండ్ ఎవరికైతే తెలియదు WISA గురించి, కెన్ యూ టాక్ అబౌట్ దాట్?
See, I really know one thing is, it's a proposal. It's a long way to get into a bill and then be passed and then coming as a rule, and that's a long way into this. It always excites us for people to look at a change, which can be something they want to see, that because of so many limitations that's happening in the last, we know that how hard it's becoming for an H1B holder. But then when it comes to compliance, and I always trust in the process and the improvements, and changes are always going to be there. How prepared you are, how you are taking that changes is something you have to be aware of it. Looking into it, what I see that is, it's just a proposal. Definitely there is the 100K fees limitations on the H1Bs. That's people are, there are very limited. Till now there is only 74 approximate numbers. The 100K fees has been paid, and then the H1B has been filed for. Keeping in mind, it's not a fees. It's not going to be forever. It's a proclamation. It's going to end up in September of 2026, if at all, it can be extended, possibility of extensions. But then, what is that, how do you prepare yourself? Being on a F1 or H1 is the question that I would want to ask anyone who is aspiring to come over to US. What's a possible way? What's a legal visas that is going to help them? So when you look into the F1, right, like no matter what, so the data are definitely showing that there is a lesser of an interest that is being shown on the people in the 2025 towards coming on an F1 visa. That's a reality, right? So I was invited to speak about 350 students who wants to travel abroad. It was a very intense, very profound meeting that was conducted. All these they expected me to talk about, hey, you go ahead, prepare these papers, prepare this. All that I said to them was, you had one opportunity to come over to understand somebody helping you out to make your journey towards US. More than all those paperworks or anything, I see the decision has to be yours. How do you prepare yourself? Means the awareness of what's my 5 years going to be. When I step into a college, how am I finding myself into a career which, see, the loans are there. So much of a huge commitment you need to take going for a visas.
Yeah, dream big antu untaru. So obviously.
So bigger, right? So you sit and find something where you are prepared for the journey.
True.
Right? Don't worry about something like paperwork. That will all eventually happen. Bigger than that, more than that, 5 years of my journey going to be taking a master's over here in US. There is always going to be a possibility you might get into a H1B, you might not. It's all a process. How prepared are you? I feel that's where the lack of, even though you all say that social media is there, everywhere you have information, sir. But what kind of an information you observe matters a lot more in your journey, even being an F1 student. If you're taking a loan, how do you arrange to pay it back when there is a time that you cannot find an opportunity to work? That's all the reality, right? See, you have definitely, if you have a STEM program, OPT, don't limit yourself to finding a job and opportunity. OPT gives you an opportunity to have your own entrepreneurship business that could be associated with that. How many of you are seriously taking that as the growth factor for you? When you're studying yourself, preparing yourself for the F1, have it, how to explore those options of an entrepreneur journey. Why is it we are limiting ourselves, our students, to that of finding an opportunity only on an employment basis?
So F1 మీద ఉంటూ we can be an entrepreneur and we can do a startup.
That's
ఇది
right.
ఎలా చేయాలి? Like how to do this?
Yeah, so we do help. I have a very, see, the young, because my son, right, he got married recently.
Yeah, congrats.
Right? So looking at him, I want every person of that age, as long as he's ready to put his efforts, I want him to have the equal opportunity for growth. Let him be on an F1, let him be an US citizen. What is that limiting you? You should be the one to have the desire to grow. So keeping that in mind, F1, if it's a related field, if you have your OPT, then you have the option of exploring, but it shouldn't come when you get the approval of an OPT. When even before entering in this, to US and coming it as a dream, you should have been prepared. Okay, I am getting my F1, I'm completing my master's, this is my goal. And when parallelly doing it, let me prepare myself. Once I get my OPT, I'm going to be someone related to the same field. I can be an entrepreneur. Exploring an option, taking a serious step towards it.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
This is all something in your control. Why are we going back to say the system is limiting myself, there's no availability of job opportunities? Where does that come from? I would want to look at it in a different, I don't want to talk about something like, these are the steps that you need to take to get your approval of the F1. No, more than that. My presence anywhere have to be lifting up people.
So where there's a will, there's a way.
Encourage them, find an opportunity, grow. That should be your desperateness to grow.
Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 అంటే ఫీజ్ బట్టి ఒకప్పుడు కాలేజ్కి వెళ్తే ఓకే నాకు ROI వస్తుంది ఈ కాలేజ్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ అని చెప్పి సో ఇప్పుడు స్టిల్ అలానే ఉందా బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద రెసిషన్ ఓవర్ క్రౌడింగ్ అండ్ ఆల్ డూ యూ థింక్ ఇట్ ఇస్ స్టిల్ ద సేమ్ ఆర్ what?
Definitely there is lot of changes recently with the market condition and the AIs, like whatever we deal with. So interestingly, talking about AI, right, someone was saying to me, so many fears, unknown fears are there with the AI, how much it's going to take the role of my career and everything. The more, for me, deep inside me, a mom was saying to me, I am so worried I will lose my identity as a mom with my children, with the AI, because they are going to find AI as a place where they are going to say, I said this, I spoke this, right? And then, what's going to be my answer? So those kind of fears are always there. But coming back to the marketplace, because most of them, the truth is, or the data says is, so much of people who are interested on the F1 and the H1Bs are the software professionals. So their jobs are getting definitely replaced with all these coming up. But then is this the same fear we had it when it was like 2000, when computers came up and everything? But still, I would say, plan your career, plan your education, and it just see to it that you are at a place where you can plan. If you are finding a right colleges, there are so many opportunities. The networking of those colleges are going to help you out to find the right job in the marketplace, and putting all your self, be desperate for growth, desperate for your career. That's something you can't compromise no matter what you do.
So proper university pick cheskunte, we should have a clarity on what do you want to do, and AI ni దృష్టిలో పెట్టుకొని we should be focusing on that.
That's right.
చాలా మంది ఇండియాలో మ్యారేజ్ చేసుకొని దే బ్రింగ్ దేర్ వైఫ్ ఇన్ ది యుఎస్ఏ, చాలా ఇమిగ్రేషన్ ప్రాసెస్ తర్వాత ఇక్కడ గొడవ వచ్చేసరికి ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్యామిలీ ఇట్ ఈస్ షోయింగ్ లైక్ అ పవర్ ఆఫ్ ఇమిగ్రేషన్ అయిపోయి వెన్ దేర్ ఇస్ అ ఫైట్. సో అలాంటప్పుడు వెన్ a woman cannot even say her opinion out loud. దానివల్ల ఏమవుతుంది అంటే if they want to get separated as well, ఇక్కడ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ద కంట్రీలో ఉన్నారు, ఇక్కడ వీఆర్ కన్సిడర్డ్ యాజ్ లైక్ లాఫుల్ ఏలియన్. సో అలాంటి విమెన్కి మీరు ఏం చెప్తారు? ఎందుకంటే మేబీ డొమెస్టిక్ ఫైట్ కావచ్చు. సో మీ స్టాండ్ ఏంటిది?
So, see, when you look into the data as well, not even differentiating between men or women in this, the dependent visas are on the women when they come in. The men, that's our cultural place where we come in, and as a provider, men are there as the, career. That's where even my family, that's where we started, right? I came on a H4 and then I built my career and everything. Keeping that, there are two things you're talking about. One is career. Career is not you can always build your career no matter what. I would say it's a factor of time. Anytime, if there can be a break in your career, it can be of any reason. That should be something personalized between you, your family and everything. But that cannot stop you to grow. If you have to be, even being on a dependent visa, you can build your career, go for a local community college, go explore the options and start your career. Keep in touch. Just because you had been out of career for 5 years, you should never be in a place to stop that. Right? I didn't start, even though I had the experience of all those. My law firm is 10 years right now, 2017 or something. So then when I came up with all that I came up with, when my family has been, I felt, okay, this is the right time for me. Now full-fledged, 100%. So there will be a place. But then this was built up constantly, everyday efforts, being on no matter what, dependent or any visas. And the other part of it, okay, so now you are here, but you feel like you are not given the rights and the privileges because of a foreign country, limiting yourselves on the visa situations. I 100% agree that's the situation of most of them. Even in case of a divorce, mutually agreed, right? The children might be a US citizen. So in that case, how do you, there's no dependent H4 that's going to be available for you, but then the child is born over here. So if you are sharing custody between your child, because you are having a dependent visa, you cannot even continue to be here. That's the reality of it. But that's a $100 million question, $100 million question. That is definitely, because you don't know what's your next choice, next option, just because you're claiming your right. Apart from that, there are so many, as I said, I am involved in the community services, in and out, just with my heart heart-filled, soul. I connect and then connect with it doesn't have to be Tamil community. I'm more involved because of my language, but overall, for anyone who lost unfortunate situation, their spouse, and then I support them. There is something called Section 204, humanitarian based filing, which we support pro bono from our office to help them out. Apart from this, yeah, if you are one who has been affected with the domestic violence, that there are so many rights, and you can be availing it, and you should not be limiting yourself just because your visa situation doesn't allow that. That's a very pathetic and a sad place to be. There are people who are going to be supporting you in the process, and you should be the one to get out of it. But the decision making of a woman matters a lot. I am a very big, profound supporter. You cannot come back to me and ask me unless you have decided this is the decision I'm going to make, because I don't have the time to be in a place to counsel you. You have to tell me I had been going through this kind of violence, or this is not abuse, and then I don't want to be in that space. Then you have to make a decision, rather than being here and there is not going to help any one of you.
O1 visa. Idi chala talented people evaraina unte O1 visa has become a hot thing now. So O1 visa ela obtain cheyali?
So the O1 visas are not for everyone, outstanding visa category, right? But see, O1s and the EB1As, which we all talk about, extraordinary ability, on the green card path of it, all those visas are not for everyone. However, the first thing is exploring it. If you look into it, outstanding, do I even qualify for the O1, or what is my, instead of being in the same place, H1B, I have a job and then I'm limiting myself. There is a possibility, but not for everyone. If you have your master's in the same field and you're in the path to the PhD program, and then on top of it, what's something, it's little more easier for healthcare industry. The reason being, if you are towards the research person towards a cancer drug that you are exploring, whereas in the software field it's a little limited because it's not like the nation. If you look at it, right, it doesn't have need an employer actually. O1 is self-petitioned, which gives you a little more of liberty that you don't have to rely on the employer, but at the same time it's more to explore. But I would definitely say if you are qualifying yourself, just explore that options.
Okay, so coming to the community help, people once they come abroad, they reach for something home-like feeling. Home, far from home is like communities through. So you support teams, that's where we met. Tamil Entrepreneurs Association for mentoring and mentoring services. So what is your take on them, and a small word about them, please?
Teams, yeah. So I definitely support them. The reason is it comes to a place of giving back. Mentoring, coaching, and all those are a conscious decision to someone to support. It can be of any field, and then that's a very noble purpose and a cause. So I definitely, that's one of the reasons I support them to be an organization. I do other services on the community because there's a lot more of need. In a family, when they lose their provider, so many of support, just being, even now at this point of time, we see a lot of panic. Asking someone, how do you feel about the situation? That's a support system that we all needed it.
Got it. So in terms of I-140, mainly it is taking time and all. So people see it as like an achievement, I-140. So people everkayithe teliyado I-140 ante entido. Ee H1B to I-140 process meer cheppagalugutarra, and aa gap lo employment changes vaste ee vidhanga cheyali?
So quickly I'll go through because this is all subjective, right? So the H1B definitely, once you, as I keep saying, 5 years at least you have to plan for it, H1B, and then when you're employed with someone, start the process, of filing a perm or an I-140, which was going to take right now the time duration is 2.5 to 3 years. So easily, once they start the process, be aware of what you want to do, and then connect with your employer and start the process. The I-140 helps your spouse as well to get an employment authorization card based on that. So these are all very helpful for you to establish yourself. So please start the process as and when you are in the journey of whatever non-immigrant visas.
Got it. At times, employees, I know you're encouraging entrepreneur mindset and all, that's very good. Rather than depending on a job, creating a job is amazing. So coming to people who are currently in a job where F1 lo gavachu, H1, they're dependent on their employers, where these kind of people, few employers are like taking that advantage of their power, a power abusal nundi, a exploitation nundi, how someone can save themselves, because paycheck కావచ్చు వాళ్ళ వీసా ఫ్యూచరే వాళ్ళ మీద డిపెండ్ అయి ఉంది అని చెప్పి లాట్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ కుమిలిపోతూ ఉంటారు, దే విల్ బి స్ట్రెస్. సో అలాంటి వాళ్ళకి వాట్ ఈస్ యువర్ కమెంట్?
See, definitely this cannot be generalized, right? But at the same time, knowing your rights matters a lot in whatever the visa situation. This is always going to be there. The employers, they taking the place, overpowering you. Running an organization is not easy. At the same time, they come under so many compliance, and their probability of success also depends on your role and growth with the organization. But the balance and also the compliance, both sides of it. Employees, I keep saying to them as well. There is unknown fear that's going around for each one of them. Understanding them, how do you support it in a way that you both are seeing your future growth based on the mutual relationship. And know your rights is very, very important for each one of you. You can't just come up and say, I didn't know, I didn't even file for my H4 just because I'm not aware of it and my employer didn't say that to me. That's something, losing somebody's visa situation over here. So those kind of places, even if you're on H1B, if you're what is your mandatory, something that LCA compliance, understanding where you have to work from, all those are very minimal that you need to be aware of.
Got it. So current buzzword is concurrent H1B. Ante ఆ H1B ఉంటే కనుక they can work for two people at once. I mean two employers. And morning ఒక చోట work చేసి evening. Usually H1B అంటేనే ఒక employer. So ఈ concurrent H1B అంటే ఏంటిది, and what are the do's and don'ts in that?
See, concurrent H1B has always been a legal availability that has been always there, but recently it started taking a little more of a place. Because there is called concurrent H1B or moonlighting or whatever it is. But however, it's legally allowed on the H1B. USCIS allows it. It's legally processed. That's allowed. But only thing is, if you are doing the concurrent H1B, you have to find the proper, both the employers. There are very many legal limitations as well. Being a place where the other employer, the full-time employer who you are working with, and then this concurrent H1B can be a part-time, as you said, daytime you can be there, as long as you are ready to put your efforts to work for a part-time employer on the concurrent H1B is legally allowed. Okay. Or full-time on the concurrent is legally allowed, but then individual situation, it's a very subjective matter question. Because is there a conflict on the first job you're taking, and then having a concurrent, so many a real-time conversations has to be, you should be talking to an immigration attorney on that.
Got it. So okay, rapid fire. Let's keep it very light. I need to know one word about everything which I'm going to say now. ఎలా అంటే మన వ్యూవర్స్ కి మెయిన్ గా RFE అనగానే మీకు ఏం గుర్తొస్తుంది?
That's common.
Quick, so no panic. All right. Day 1 CPT?
Make a right decision.
Interesting. Consultancy?
Know your rights.
Got it. Lottery?
Probability of success, and it's a probability game.
Got it. And Daisy WhatsApp group advice or some rumors through fake news or something, what is your take on that?
Stay away.
Yeah,
100% stay away. It's not just because I want to say that everything starts, the unknown fear is being created only through these groups, and there are so many consequences and decision that has gone wrong just because it has been reliant on a WhatsApp group messages or through a friend who said I had gone through the process.
Last question. As a person, as a Mary and as an attorney, Mary Kennedy, ఎవరైతే వ్యూవర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో దాంట్లో అమ్మ కావచ్చు, ఒక అక్క కావచ్చు, ఒక పేరెంట్ కావచ్చు, ఒక ఫాదర్ సన్, వీళ్ళందరికీ ఆల్రెడీ అబ్రాడ్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళ చిల్డ్రన్ గురించి, వాళ్ళ కిడ్స్ గురించి మీరు మీ మాటల్లో ఏం చెప్తారు వాళ్ళకి?
See, for me, the legacy statement I always carry is I want to be identified as a woman or a human with empathy, compassion, and carrying everything I do with all the fulfillment of what life has given to me. It humbles me to a place where I want to give it back, creating hope within the people, no matter what, wherever you are, and there is always hope, and trust that in the process. And we will journey together to find that, choices and option. And I always say this, I want to say this, I want to be a woman who has been impressive to impactful.
Amazing. So, ప్రాసెస్ని నమ్ముతూ ఏదో అయిపోతాను ఒక 5 steps ముందు ఆలోచించకుండా స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్ ఆలోచిస్తూ పీస్ఫుల్గా ఉండి అండ్ క్రియేట్ అన్ ఇంపాక్ట్ఫుల్ పర్సన్. అమేజింగ్ అండి.
The journey might be very scary to start with, but always find there is options that's available for you, choices and options. People are there. Trust them and you will find success and growth in whatever you do.
Pleasure talking to you.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing. Yeah.